Hello YouTube, thought I'd do a quick video here. This is going to be my SWR, how to tune this antenna video. This is on my universal DIY quarter wave GMRS or ham antenna kit. Now you have to supply the wire, the screws, but this is a universal antenna kit. What I mean by universal is we can use different size gauges of wire. We're not stuck with using solid gauge wire. What I mean by that is when you normally make a quarter wave, you got to use like coat hanger wire because you got to bend this at a 45 degrees, or you got to use solid copper wire. We don't need to do that with this kit, okay? This kit lets you use thin wire. A matter of fact, I got 22 gauge phone wire, and I'll show you what I mean here in a minute, okay? So that's the beauty of this kit. Also, this is very lightweight. Matter of fact, the weight of this antenna with my wire, not including, I still got to put silicone on the top here to attach it. I'll explain that more about that here in a minute. But I still got to put silicone or screws. But without including that, this antenna I have here weighs 2.9 ounces. And yes, I do have a scale to verify that. This is my shipping scale, so it's very accurate. So yeah, there you go. Very lightweight. I know I've been saying 4 ounces. I went a little higher because I don't know what gauge wire people are going to use. So there you go. It's extremely lightweight. Now, when I get before I get into the tuning of this antenna, I also want to mention that you can, and in my antenna, I don't plan on taking this apart. So I super glued my tubing to the base. You don't have to do that. You can use silicone if you want to remove these grounding tubes, ground plane tubes. I super glued it. I did not super glue the caps, none of that. I did super glue this antenna tubing to the cap with this cone adapter. So that's all super glued. But again, you can use silicone if you want to take it apart. That's up to you. I don't plan on, when I get this thing done, the only thing I got to do now is I just got to do the silicone, this top to the base. Do not super glue the top to the base. Otherwise, you can't take it apart to work on it or do whatever, okay? So don't do that. So now, at any rate, now tuning this antenna. Now, if you look at your screen, if you haven't noticed, on the bottom left-hand side, I have a live SWR. I have an analyzer hooked up. You don't need an analyzer to tune your antenna. You can use a regular SWR meter. So just to show you that that is reading correctly, if I touch this, the number goes up. That's because of the resistance and the capacity of my body, etc., etc., etc. So that brings me to the next point, is when you tune this antenna, you got to check the SWRs with the cap on, okay? What I mean by that is, look at the SWR. What is it, 1.3, 1.4, whatever it is. When I take this cap off, SWR will go up. That's because the cap acts like a body, like when you saw me touch it, it's got, capacitance, resistance, etc., etc. So you always want to get your final SWR reading with the cap on, okay? Now, tuning this antenna is real simple. Once you calculate the length you need, there's an online calculator for that with the frequency you're going to be using. I'll post that link in the description below. Also, if you're interested in this kit, I'll also post a link to where you can sign up and get notified for this antenna kit. But to tune this antenna, what you do is you cut off only a 1/16 of an inch at a time. Put your cap on, check your final SWR. If it's still too high, take it off. Cut off a 1/16 of an inch. That's how you do that. But you got to make sure you check it with the cap on, okay? Now, I've been playing around with this, and as you can see, and I'll show you a better view, I'm using, like I said, 22 gauge phone wire. Also, for the ground plane wire is also the same type of wire. I did switch out the phone wire to 14 gauge solid copper wire, and I had the same results. Works real good. Now, if you want to get fancy, you could make this be an adjustable antenna to a certain degree by using a 3.3 millimeter coupler that's got Allen wrench screws. You can buy that at your hardware store. This is a coat hanger wire. You still might have to trim a little bit of it to kind of get in the ballpark. Then you can adjust it with the Allen wrenches. You can do that. However, I will have to admit, it is sure nice cutting this thin wire for tuning. Oh gosh, it is really nice. Cutting this heavier gauge wire is kind of a pain. Whether it's 14 gauge or this coat hanger wire, it's kind of a pain cutting that, especially at a 1/16 of an inch at a time. But this thinner wire, oh God, oh man, it was actually enjoyable to actually tune the antenna. So anyway, now as you can see, I did use ring connectors on my ground plane wire. You don't need to. Even though my ring connectors were for a bigger size wire, I was still able to solder on my little phone wire. What I mean by phone wire, if you're wondering, back in the day when you had jacks in your house for your telephone, you would use the wire that you would hook up to your phone jack. I call it phone wire, and I had, I think, 4 pairs of wire, or four wires in it, if I remember right. That's the wire I'm using. It's solid gauge, 22 gauge. It's really small. Matter of fact, Cat 5 wire might be the same gauge. I'm not for sure, but it's really small gauge is what I'm using. And I'll show you that here in a minute. Now, you will have to supply your own screws, your own ring adapters, your own super glue or silicone, depending on how you want to mount these. Like I said, you can silicone these tubes in. That's not a big deal. I super glued it because once I get this up, I'm done. But you can do it in many different ways. So now I want to show you, if I can here. You can kind of see, hopefully you can kind of see that. That's the wire that you saw in my SWRs. That little skinny little wire, okay? And I got really good SWRs. I could probably fine tune it more, but technically anything below 2 is good enough. Now you don't need an analyzer. You can use an SWR mirror, but just make sure you check it after the cap is on. Only cut off a 1/16 of an inch. Don't try to think, well, I'll cut off an 1/8 inch. Trust me. Trust me when I say that, because it's going to be too short. Don't ask me how I know that. Don't get impatient, is what I'm saying. It's easy to do, but don't. If you take your time, this thing's going to tune really nice. So, yeah, and I'll post a link on how you can sign up to get this, notify when this becomes available. Like I say, maybe this summer, when it gets warmer out, I'll put this antenna up and we'll play around with it. But according to what I see here with the analyzer, she should work just fine. I like the lightweightness of it. I really do. Matter of fact, let's see if I can. Let's make this video even fancier. Let's see if I can quickly do this, just so that you can see it. Just because, why not? Let's just go all out here. I'm unhooking my connector here. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to move that. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but we will try it anyways. And what else do I need? I need this piece. Okay, so there we go. Oh, wow, you can see that. Hey, Dave's looking up. So we're going to put this on here. And I bent my little antenna, but I don't care because I can fix it. Oh, okay. I think I said 2.9 earlier. I lied. 3.3 ounces. Look at that. Now, that's not including the silicone. And what I mean by silicone, I should probably explain that. Now I can show you. Do not super glue this cap onto the base. You're just going to use, well, it doesn't matter if I bend it. You're just going to use silicone to do that. Around the edge, you could use screws on there, but silicone that. So the weight you are seeing does not include that silicone or any other screws. So there you have it. And I said it, what I say in my other video, 4. I was pretty close. Now that's going to vary, what size gauge wire you use. Matter of fact, let's take this 14 gauge solid, put that on there. Well, that didn't really, maybe a little bit. So you kind of get the point where I'm going with this. It's extremely lightweight antenna. Now, I also want to mention, though, when you get this thing fully assembled, make sure, what I mean by fully assembled, you are done tuning it. And I'm going to mention this again. You're done tuning it. you have, I'm kind of going to put this to kind of half together here. You're done tuning it. Make sure you put a coat of clear that's got UV resistance all over the antenna. And don't forget the little adapter itself down here. Don't forget to spray that too. Put at least minimum of 2 coats on there to help the UV. So when you get this all done, when you get it all silicone up, then don't forget to seal it up with this. And when you go to my store, I have a link where you can buy this from Walmart. So you want it to be clear. Well, I guess you don't have to have it clear if you want to paint a different color, but just make sure it's got UV resistance. It will say that on the can, UV resistance. So make sure that it does say that after you're done tuning this. But there you go. This is a very lightweight antenna, more universal than what's out there. 3.3 ounces, very lightweight. So there you go. I'll post the links on where you can sign up to get notified when this becomes available. I'll also post a link to the online calculator to calculate. Remember, like I said, I kind of smashed my antenna. No big deal. We'll just put it back. You got to use the online calculator to calculate the length of wire you're going to need. I'll post that link in the description below also. So there you go. If you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. Please subscribe. Thank you and have yourself a good day.